trying to overtake the Patriots. Really the last team in the division to overtake the Patriots because the Dolphins and Bills have passed them by. The New York Jets, who expect to get Aaron Rodgers at some point between now and the conclusion of the draft, they can't leave that process without addressing what position, Chris?
I think the biggest thing is probably O-line, that they need another piece there. I'm not saying that they necessarily need that at, what are they, pick 13, right, in the draft? I got that right? I think I got that right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I look at that and go, that certainly can be an error there. With Mekhi Becton, the injuries he's had there, their offensive line's been solid but not great, right? So I can imagine them, looking, tackle could be something at 14. Then you get into the other conversations, Mike. And this is where, again, it just talks about the AFC East, and to your point a little here, I mean, damn, the Jets roster is good. There's not a lot to look at. So we could sit there and talk about O-line, a tackle maybe at 14. They need, I think, probably a safety, another safety on their roster, right? They're running that Seattle scheme. They want Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor. They don't have that right now. They really only got Jordan Whitehead as their guy there. And then here's just one other thing I'll just throw out at you here. Because O-line, safety, sure. Do you think they'd think about pass rusher at 14? They took a guy in the first round last year, right? We know they got Quinnen Williams. But again, this is a defensive coach who came from the 49ers, and before that was with the Seattle Seahawks, where we know D-line and depth and sending bodies. And that's the other way I look at it. I think they add a pass rusher, but would they do it at 14? Those are my thoughts, Mike. What do you got to say about all that?
Well, and I look at it this
13,
way, too.
sorry. One
of the things that has plagued the Packers during Aaron Rodgers' time there, you look at how they use their draft. When do they ever use those draft picks to go all in to get guys who can immediately help the team?
Yeah.
That, to me, is going to be the great philosophical question for the Jets. Are we developing for the future, or are we using everything that we have in our arsenal, from cap space for free agents to draft picks, calculated toward now? Who can we get ready to play now? What do we need to address now? Team is good. How do we get it to the point where we send the message to Aaron Rodgers? We're not going to draft, the guy who's going to compete with Zach Wilson after you're gone. We're not going to waste a pick on a guy that's not going to be on the field when you're not here. We're using our picks on guys who we believe will contribute to this team during your time, whether it's 1 year, whether it's 2 years. Because this is part of the subtext. This is one of the reasons why this trade isn't done.
Definitely.
The Jets are concerned that Rodgers is going to leave after 1 year.
Right.
So from them, and it almost reminds me of what the Buccaneers were doing in 2020 and 2021, that everything was calculated toward getting Tom Brady to stay. Get Tom Brady to stay as long as he can. We fill the stadium. We're relevant. We contend. Get him to stay as long as he'll stay. And I feel like, especially in the first year of Aaron Rodgers, everything they do has to be through that prism of, is this more likely or less likely to get Aaron Rodgers to stick around?
Gotcha.
And I think the more they go all in to help Aaron Rodgers win, the more loyalty he'll feel, the more indebted he'll feel to the team to stick around for another season.
I don't disagree with you there. I think, and you laid it out the right way. I think those are the problems of this conversation. That compensation of if he does play 2 years and what the Packers want and all that. And, you laid it out in a good way there to where that's where, Mike, so if you're them, I think we flushed it out there in what you said. There's two spots where I think they could draft and accomplish kind of both. One long-term and one, hey, we're helping you out right now. O-line, one of the top tackles is going to be there for them to take at 13. So they could do that right now and then not have to play, we think Mekhi Becton will be good, or we think Dwayne Brown will be healthy, right? So they could just take that out of the rotation of the risk altogether. Or like, Mike, what if they're at like 14 there and let's say the kid from Georgia's on the board, Nolan Smith, the freak who ran 4.39 at 240 pounds. That's like Hassan Reddick. He could be like Cliff Averill for their defense that, up in Seattle those years, that kind of guy. Where would you err on that? What's your thought on, that this or that when I break it down that way?
Far more importantly, I think you have a new case of triskaidekaphobia. You keep saying 14 instead of 13.
I know,
like
sorry.
The hotel, right? There isn't a 13th floor. Maybe
I said at 13 at first, and then I
nights.
went back to 14 because the Patriots are at 14 and the Jets are at 13, and the segment's both of them, and I'm getting confused. All right, so sorry.
Okay. I think you can never have enough good pass rushers, especially with Josh Allen, with Tua, with Mac Jones, with the rest of the AFC. If you want to compete, once you get your offense taken care of, you load up your defense. You load up your defense because for your defense, the offense is the key, but the defense has to make a play at some point. At some point. If you're going to win playoff games, if you're going to advance to a Super Bowl, I know that makes Jets fans giddy to just even consider the possibility. You need the defense to step up at some point. And if you can rotate, like the Eagles do, 7 or 8 bodies on that front four, keep them fresh, keep them relentless all game long, you can't go wrong. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.